Okay, greetings again, everybody. So, the last time we looked at drawing a slab plan for a simple two-bedroom dwelling, and here's the dwelling over here. And in the last plan, I would have explained that for each room, you treat it separately in terms of the steelwork. This is not complete because I am yet to put in the steelwork for this room, the main and distribution bars for this room, this room, this room, and this room. Now, today I'm going to show you how to draw the slab details or draw two sections through the slab. Normally when you draw a slab plan, it is accompanied by two sections. And what do I mean by section? Alright, so you're going to draw a line that is going to represent your cutting plane line. So let's say I'm going to cut the building through here. So I'm going to draw the cutting plane line first and then explain to you. So the line type will be, we'll use a center line, but it will not remain exactly as a center line. It will become a cutting plane line due to the fact that you're going to add the arrows to the end. In building drawing, we kind of add a bit of style to it. You draw a circle. Let me go back to the 0 line. Going to set this to 45. Yes, so you're at 45. This is how I normally draw it. So I'm drawing two lines here. One line here rather from the start to the finish. Then I'm going to draw another line. Basically, I want a 45-degree tangent line here. Then I'm going to mirror this here. So I know where the tangent point is by drawing a 45-degree line here. So basically, let me extend this over to here. Let me delete this, I don't need this anymore. Let me convert this in as 0 line. Then I'm going to hatch here. Then I'm going to use a text. Text size is 150. Then I'm going to put a comma or hyphen a, or not hyphen, or whatever you call this. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it over the next side as well. So basically, I'm going to cut through the slab with this line, and I am going to look upwards. As you see, the arrow is pointing upwards. Let me drop it somewhere in the center here. So basically, I'm cutting through the slab this way, and I'm looking upwards, right? So let me show you what that would look like. And I'm going to convert some measurements or transfer some measurements. So right here, I'm going to pull on a line. I'm going to move this across and pull on a line from here for the two edges of the slab. The slab stops here, starts here. You can trim here. Then you will have the thickness of the slab, which is 150 millimeters. Alright, then I'm going to, you know that the overhang is 450 millimeters, so you can measure or you can transfer. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this line, copy it across. So I'm transferring the measurements. Alright. So basically, these measurements are where the walls are positioned under the slab. And this is the depth of the beam that the slab is rested on. So let me delete this and let me show you what will be happening. So this slab is resting on some beams, and I'm going to copy these beams, copy this beam because I've created one already. Then I can now proceed to delete and delete without trimming. So you can draw this via transferring of the measurements, or you can draw it via just knowing the measurements. The distance between from this wall to this wall, or the distance between the two walls, is here for the bathroom. Then you have the passageway, as you can see here. Then you have the width of the room over the other side. Then you have the overhang. So let me do some dimensioning so that you guys can see what is up. So basically, you have 150 millimeters here. Let me make this a bit smaller. The text, let me go 75. Right. Then I can use dim continue. If you notice, these measurements are corresponding with the measurements on the floor plan. The room, as you can see, let me just put some measurements here. I did not dimension this plan previously. If you notice, that measurement is corresponding with the slab detail that I've just drawn. So these are the measurements because I've cut through this point of the building, and you see the measurements. You're also going to see over the other side the overhang. Another thing that you're going to see is the thickness of the slab, as well as the height or depth of the beam. So every wall, when a wall is being built, before the slab can be casted on the top of the wall, you have to have a beam, and this slab detail is showing it. So you cut through the building and you're seeing what is taking place here. So this is the section through this slab plan, and we call this section AA. So this point is A, this point is A, section AA. We are going to cut it longitudinally as well, so we are going to need to do another one. But let's work with this one first. The first thing I'll draw is the main bars and the distribution bars. Alright, so I'm going to offset 25 millimeters, and I'm going to do each slab. Let's start it over here. Right here. If you notice, the main bars are running. The main bars are running back to front. Distribution bars are running across. So the main bars. So let me draw something and show you. I'm going to draw some small dots. Okay, I'll go back to my zero layer. Once you create one of these, you can copy it, and you're going to use the solids for this. Once you create one of this, oh, by the way, this steel bar has to be thick. Basically, what I normally do is put this, let's sit on top of this. This is 25 millimeters from here. 25 millimeters, that's the cover. You call it cover because the concrete will be covering the steel bar at least 25 millimeters. Alright, so if you notice the main bars, remember that the main bars normally, the distribution bars, sorry, normally sit on the main bars. So we're looking at this. So this is the cut through. Main bars are running back to front, so they will appear like this. The distribution bar will be on top. If you notice, it's running left to right, so you will move it a further 25 millimeters. So this now, if you notice the distance between, as was stated, is the main bar is 200 millimeters. So that's 200 millimeters. You can type 400, either way, 600, or you can just take one, copy. I've selected this one, but I'm using this as a base point, placing it here so that you can continue. You can even select a number of them, copy, then the one that you did not select, you copy that from that base point to the last point here. Alright, so I'm not going to do any more of this. So if you notice, you have the main bars going back to front, and then you have the distribution bar sitting on top. This will continue over to the overhang over this side. This is too close, so you delete these two. This will be extended to the end, but you're going to pull it back 25 millimeters for the sake of this concrete covering the steel bar. So this is basically for this side. I'm going to do the same thing, 25 millimeters. But this time, if you notice, the main bars will be running to the smaller span, which is this. I have not placed it. I'm going to place it real quick so that you're not confused. So I'm going to copy this. So the distribution bars will be on top, like here. So I'm going to copy 250. That's the distance between the distribution bars. So I'm typing increments of 250. So what I would do, I normally overlap this to the other side, overlap this to the other side. So then I'm going to change the layer to match properties. Use match properties rather. So if you notice over this side, things are a bit different. The main bar span is the smaller span, and the smaller span is going left to right. As you can see here, the longer span is north to south. So the north to south steel bars will be shown as this. Alright, so let's go over to here. It will be the same arrangement over here. If you notice, the longest portion is going back to front. So what we can do, rather than switching up things, we can just continue and bring this all the way over. Back it off by 25, and we can just copy, and really and truly you don't have to get the distance between these very precise, because you'll be labeling them anyway. You'll be labeling them to show the distance. Alright, so this is what we are going to do for the top now. So this is the main bars and the distribution bars. So this is what you're going to do for the top now. You're going to offset down 25. And what I normally do first is put these at the top. These are 200 millimeters apart, so I'm going to use these, and I'm going to copy these all the way across. And there's a trick. Once I've gotten to a certain distance, I'll just copy all of these and go again, so that it takes less copying to get to the other side. Alright, so once I've done that, I'll know, because as I was explained before, the over support bar doesn't span over the entire roof in the last video. So this is what I'm going to do with the over support bar. I'm going to take a measurement from the center of the wall to the center of the other wall, and that is 2,400 millimeters. That measurement divided by 3 is 800 millimeters. So from here, I'm going to draw a line that is 800 millimeters. Then from here, another line. That is 800 millimeters. So basically this is what's going to happen. I'm going to trim the steel bars in between, and I'm going to delete every steel bar in between. So the overhang, if you realize, it takes up 2/3. This overhang or over support is spanning 1/3. This one is spanning another third. So you have a third space remaining that doesn't contain any steel bars. And normally you'll put the measurements. Normally this is what I do. From the overhang to the center here, put the measurement, then put this to the 1/3 span, 1/3 span without steel work, and the other third span. As I'm drawing out, minimizing the measurements. So basically this is it. Let's continue. I'll do the same thing here. So I'll measure 1,350. AutoCAD has a cool feature where you can type the measurement and divide it by 3, and there you go. You don't have to calculate it on your own. AutoCAD does it for you. Then you can simply copy from this base point to here. Tricks of the trade that allows you to work more quickly. Then I'm going to delete. So if you notice, one-third overhang, or over support rather. Alright, now let's measure from the center of this wall to the center of this wall, and the measurement that we'll get is 3,750. Then I'm going to draw a line from here, and I'm going to type 3,750 divided by 3, and it should give you 1/3 of that measurement. I'm going to then copy, paste, to get the other 1/3, and now I'm going to just trim. So I can continue to if you notice, 3 spans over each slab. So here this is hanging 1/3 of the slab over this side, 1/3 over this side, and those are 1/3 with no over support. Alright, so this is showing the steelwork, main bars, distribution bars, and at the top you have the over support. If you notice, the distribution bars and main bars, they change position depending on which the direction of the longer part, or the longer span rather. For example, the longer span is back to front for this room and this room that is cut through. Therefore the steel is positioned differently. than here, where the longest span is left to right. Alright, the longest span is the distribution bar. So the longest span must have must be indicated by steel bars that are on top of the main bar. So this is the distribution bar. The longest span is this way, so it has to sit upon the main bars, which are the shortest span. But here now, the longest span is going back to front, so the steel bars have to be at the top. So the left to right steel bars are the main bars now. For the over support, it doesn't really matter. What normally happens is these are the shortest steel bars, and they run at the top. They sit at the top, the absolute top. And there are other steel bars that are running perpendicular to these, that are running in line with the wall, these steel bars are sitting on top of. So basically, the steel bars that are running parallel to the wall are always bearing the load of the steel bars that are running perpendicular to the wall. So this is a steel bar running perpendicular to the wall. It has to be at the top at all times. Well, there are exceptions depending on how you cut the slab, but for the most part, it is as is. So I don't want to complicate things and give you that exception at the moment. Alright, so we're almost done placing the steel bars. We have to place the steel bars for the beam that will be here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to offset 25 millimeters again. This way, this way, this way. I'm going to extend this up somewhere here, so it's overlapping in the slab, so that the steel bars can be tied to it. So you can bring this up. You don't have to measure this specifically, and then you can close them off. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to click fillet, then R enter to select a radius, and I'm going to type a radius of 25. Let's see how that works. Probably 25 is too much. I'm gonna go 20. See what sees up. Alright, so I'm going to make sure that the four corners are rounded. Then I'm going to change this into that layer. Then I'm going to copy these four steel bars. Place, place, place. I like to be neat, so I like to just, once I place one, I'll mirror it to the other side so that it's in line. And once I place two, I'll mirror it so that they are neat. Now, for one of the corners, I'm going to just simply draw two lines. These lines is showing that the steel bars are wrapping around this. So this is a stirrup. Just like in the stiffener details, it is a stirrup, and it is wrapping around these four steel bars. And you'll see that in the beam details further on. So this is a beam, the steel work in a beam, and I'm going to select everything and I'm going to copy it, and paste it, then paste it, then paste it. You can redraw all of them if you wish, or you can just do the simpler thing and paste it across. Now this is the slab, the section through the slab. This is the section through the slab. Now all that is left for me to do is to label. Now let me start off with labeling the over support. So you're going to type 12 millimeter diameter over support bars and enter at 200 millimeters OC both ways. And let me show you why I put both ways. I need to get this smaller. this text is too large. So let me get this smaller. 75. Alright. Both ways. So these the bars that are going left to right, this is the same distance as the bars that are going back to front, the distance between. So both ways it's the same distance. So that's why I placed it that way. So I really don't have to label this one because I'm specifying both ways. So I'm going to copy. That's the beauty about AutoCAD. I'm going to bring this upwards and I'm going to just change the labeling. Now this bar here that it is pointing at, if you look back on the drawing, it is left to right and it is the distribution bar. It's going the longest span. So I'm going to change this measurement to 250 because that's the now this is distribution bars. Alright, then I'm going to copy them. I'm going to point here. I'm going to mirror this to the other side so the labels don't lay on top of each other. I'm going to put a circle around this. Then I'm going to point on the circle. So basically I'm labeling the circle and this is the main bar. And the distance is 200 millimeters. You can use the labelings done here as for reference how to label the bars here. Alright, so this now, the same labeling can be used for this over support bar here. Let's just mirror it so that it doesn't get in the way. Or should I? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I have to just mirror this back. Alright, so I'm going to copy this. The main bar in this case is right here. Let me pull this up more. You can just do it in whatever way that allows it to fit. So the main bar is at the bottom, always. And the distribution bar is at the top, always. So right here, I'm going to point at the distribution bar that is on the top. I'm going to put a circle. So I'm labeling the circle. And I'm going to just and then I can copy this. So this is the main bar, this is the distribution bar. Then it's the same arrangement for the next slab, part of the slab. So I can just copy across. So this is basically complete. The only thing that is left to be done is, let me do it quickly. Let me turn Okay, I cannot turn that off. So I'm going to hatch inside, and then change this hatch to architectural concrete, and the scale here 15, and you'll have this. So this is basically it, and this is how you label it. So I'm going to this is section, and this is too large. Let me change this to 150. This is section, or section AA through slab, and then you press enter, then you write scale 1. I normally do this in a scale of 1 into 10, 1 into 25, 1 into 20, thereabout. You can use 1 into 15 as well. I'm going to stick with the smallest scale. I'm going to also underline the text at the top, and the text at the bottom I'm going to put it at a smaller text, something like this. Normally you do something like this as well. 150, slab plan, and this will be larger. This will be at a larger scale, so the text has to be larger. So naturally you would have another cutting plane line here, and you'd copy these and rotate this. You can point it in the direction of your choosing. This will be section BB, so you have to do that as well. You can practice that on your own time. So just put in the cutting plane line so that you know that it is supposed to be done as well. So let's recap this before we go. If you notice, I have only put in the main and distribution bars for this. You are supposed to be able, based on watching the last video, to put it in for here and for here. Only the over support bars are placed. Alright, but you should be able to know where the steel bars are supposed to be. So if you notice the span here, it's the longest span, so that steel bar goes to the top. In every case, the longest span for this is back to front, for this is back to front. So if you notice the steel bars at the top, going back to front. Back to front steel bars are represented by a circle. The left to right steel bars are represented by a line. So for this one, for this part of the slab and this part of the slab, the back to front steel bars are spanning longer. So those are the distribution bars that are sitting at the top of the main bar, which is this. So ensure that your labeling is corresponding. Alright, so people, I hope that, oh, but before we go there, there's another detail that we should show, which is here. This is what I normally do. I normally copy here. I have some deleting to do. I have this to delete. This is what I normally do. I have to now put the zigzag line here. I can trim this, and I can copy. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do basically. I'm going to put the thickness of the slab here, or the thickness of the beam, as well as the thickness of the slab. Then let me see if I can just borrow one of these here. So I'm going to point on this bar here, this circled bar, and I'm going to basically write the description. So basically this is number 4, because there are 4 of these bars going back to front in the wall, and they are all 12 millimeters in diameter, and we call them steel bars, and they are wrapped with a stirrup with a 9 millimeter diameter stirrups at, this is the distance now, 250 millimeters OC, then in 1, 2, 4 concrete mix. Alright, so basically, let me tell you what this is saying. You have 4 steel bars here, 1, 2, 3, 4, running along the length of the wall, and then these 4 steel bars are wrapped with stirrups along, and the distance between these stirrups are 250 millimeters. The diameter of steel that is used to make these stirrups are 9 millimeters. Alright, or 3/8, 1/3 of an inch, that is. Then they are showing you the concrete mix that is used to pour in these beams. 1 parcel of cement to 2 parcels of sand to 4 parcels of gravel, and this you will call a beam detail. A belt beam detail or ring beam. Let me put belt beam detail. Alright, so we don't need to label the steel bars here because they are already labeled in the slab. And we can also do the same thing with this. Alright, here we go. So this, we have 1 more of this to be done for the longer side of the building. And once we do that, we have completed the slab details for this slab plan. Okay, I hope you guys learned the concept that was taught. Any questions you can post in the comments, and if it is something that I can address, I'll address it in a future video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a good day.